In this video, let's take a look at how we can set up some global options for our question slides. Right now along the main timeline, we have a survey question that's not scored, as well as a quiz question that is scored. And we also have some question slides within some question banks. Now, one of the most obvious things we can see is that our quiz questions have some default feedback message objects. Watch how these change when we go into modifying our global settings. To do this, let's go ahead and select Project and then Project Properties. In the dialog that displays, select Question Options. The two tabs we'll be working with will be Scoring and Responses. So, in the Scoring tab, you can configure global settings for such things as points. Let's go ahead and change this. The number of attempts. We'll go ahead and keep the re-answer feature enabled, and then you can set a time limit if you want. Let's go ahead and set that to 1 minute. Then in the Responses tab, we can actually modify the default text that's applied to our feedback if we want. So let's go ahead for correct responses. We'll say congratulations, good job. For incomplete responses, we'll say please try again. And then for incorrect feedback, let's say no, that is incorrect. Once we go ahead and click OK, our feedback message objects will be updated to all of the slides that do not have the override project property settings applied. So watch this. We'll click OK. And obviously the text in our feedback messages were updated. Now, if you want, you can also go ahead and override what you have set up globally in project properties for any of your question slides on a slide per slide basis. So for example, for our survey slide, we can go ahead and open up the score dialog here and override settings in project properties by enabling it, and then we can select options or change them as needed. Maybe we want to go ahead and deselect these two features. We can also do this with any of our quiz question slides as well. So for example, maybe on this one, I just want to take off, we're going to override settings in project properties and take off the timing and click OK. Now, if I want to go ahead and change any of these feedback objects, I simply select them and then choose the option to override incorrect message text in the properties here, which will allow me then to double click to go into text edit mode and then override it. And I can just say, no, that is not correct, and so on. I again would do this on a slide per slide basis. If you're working with question slides within banks, simply select the slides. Now, when you select them within the bank, the option to change anything in the scoring dialog, of course, will be disabled. To edit it, you have to actually go into the bank dialog itself to modify the question bank, select the scoring tab, and from there you can go ahead and override settings and project properties as needed. And let's go ahead and do this with our survey bank. Again, I can modify it here. Go into the scoring tab and override it as needed here. And then finally, let's just tie it up with one last thing. For any of your quiz questions that are using any of the feedback objects, simply go ahead and select which one you want to work with, and then along the second level toolbar, select the option to override whichever feedback object it is, and then go ahead and modify it as needed. So for example, we'll go ahead and just change the text and we'll say, congratulations, you are correct. And then maybe we'll go ahead and resize this a little bit. That's all there is to it. If you have any questions on any of Qarbon's products and services, please visit us online at www.qarbon.com. Happy viewletting!